For a minute, I thought you was about to hit the remix. Remix.
I might do a longer version. I might have to do like a little remix longer version. I'm gonna try a thing or two. Try my skills with this remix thing. But how are you tonight, Twin?
I'm
Happy Thursday.
happy Thursday, turn up Thursday, football, Thursday night football. We here tonight to have this wonderful conversation with you good people. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm in the great state of Alabama
Bam bam.
tonight. I am coming to you live from Alabama. It's been a day. I took two flights and a car ride to be here, and I am super happy. I am going to be taking in an Alabama A&M game this weekend. I am so excited. It's my first HBCU. I didn't say the U the same way, but game. So I'm super excited to see it all come together. So yes, I am actually coming from the United States of America. I know a lot of people think I live here. I do not. I live in Canada. But I am coming from the great state of Alabama. And so far, so good. I've only been here a couple of hours, but what I've seen so far, I'm definitely a fan. Let me
Okay.
just say that. So I'm looking forward to seeing what else Alabama has to offer, this little Jamaican Canadian girl. But how was your week been?
Very productive. Like
Woo,
at
love
work,
that word.
work has been very good, productive, having some great conversations with some people. So things are going really well. Very great week. I have no complaints. Good stuff.
Life is good on your side. I gotta, you know what, offline, I'm gonna figure out what the secret is. Because life is over, you just smiling and cheesing and productive and all of that stuff. I love this. Oh, Jeff, you're in Mississippi. Mississippi. I remember learning how to spell different places, even back home when I was in Jamaica. And Mississippi was one of the words I would know how to spell because it was so you could turn it into a song, which I just did. Mississippi.
You gotta say
Anyway,
that. Ah,
great
come back
state of
home.
Mississippi. Yes, I am in Alabama until Monday, Jeff. So I'm going to take in that Alabama A&M game. I feel like I'm going to bring them luck. They're going to win. It's going to be great.
All right.
My I feel it. I feel it in my bones. I bring luck. This is what I'd like to tell myself. But my week has also been good, productive as well. A short week for me, clearly, because I only work 3 days. But busy, busy, busy. It's becoming that busy season where it's time to get into gear because there's a lot of things to do before the year is done. But like you, I can't complain. I am blessed to be able to get on a plane. Um, Wake up in one country and go to sleep in another is a blessing. And I think sometimes we need to count those little mini blessings that we have. I want us to take a moment and not take life for granted. The little things that we get to experience because I often forget that not everybody gets to live even the fraction of the life that I live. And sometimes you want to think, oh, my life could be so much better. But I always have to remember there's somebody out there praying for my problems.
Right.
And just the little fact that I was able to get up this morning, leave my home, get on a plane, the ability to even do that, get into another state, like another country, not even just a state, another country is a blessing, and I don't want to take those little things for granted. So we're going to have a discussion tonight. Um, and this show is actually in honor of my own stepfather. My stepfather passed away on September the 2nd. And interestingly enough, he's being buried on Sunday, and I won't um,
Oh,
be there because my stepfather ended up marrying someone else after he and my mother were not together, and she clearly had made all the decisions. And so this trip had been planned for months, and unfortunately, I couldn't move it. However, um, this show is definitely in honor of my stepfather, who is not only a great stepfather but a great grandfather to my daughter. And my father's passed away kind of in terms of dates a week of each other. My stepfather passed away on September 2nd, and my father passed away on September the 9th.
Oh wow.
So they're a week of each other. So September has been pretty rough. It's only been a couple of weeks since my stepfather passed away, and it's been 3 years as of this September the 9th that my father passed away. So as I am unable to be there for my stepfather as he is being buried, I thought about this kind of honor to him, and I really wanted to have this conversation because as a woman who was blessed to know the love um, of a man who was my father, who I shared his DNA, and a man who came into my life and was present as a father, but more importantly, a grandfather. And what did I miss? Oh, I got to say crooked letter I. Is that what I got to do? Okay, okay. Okay, see, this is the properness in me. I know from P Valley they say crooked letter but I'm not even going to pretend to try to do it because I'm just going to mess it up completely. So I'm going to do it my little way because I'm just going to mess up how you guys do the crooked letter crooked letter I. Yeah, see, I already messed it up. It's over. So I'm just gonna keep to my side of the world, my side by spelling it the way it's spelled because I'm gonna mess it completely up. But the question on the table tonight is stepdaddy season over,
Um,
or is the stepdaddy era over? Are men really looking at the idea of being a stepfather the same way they did 20, 30, 40 years ago? I'll just give my life experience. So, my stepfather and my mother actually knew each other from back home in Jamaica. And so they had known each other. I want to say even before I was born, because his sister and my mom were friends. It turns out that they both emigrated to Canada. And then I guess my stepfather saw my mom somewhere, got in touch with someone who knew her to give the number. My mom was telling me actually the story just recently of how they like reconnected when I was 9. And I think they went on their one date and like that was it, right? Because they had known each other, they knew each other's family. And my fathers actually met. So my father, when I had emigrated to Canada, my father felt like it was his responsibility if there was going to be another man in my life to meet that man. And so my father had flown to Canada from Jamaica for my 10th birthday. I came to Canada when I was 9, like close to 9 and a half. And my stepfather was in my life, God, until I was in my 30s. And so he was a huge part of my daughter's life because I think she was maybe around 10 or 11. My daughter's 24 now or so when my mother and my stepdad parted ways. So, I experience the kind of love that is a unique kind of love because no one is obligated to show up in your life and love you just because they love your parents, right? Like it's not, and I think this is where we just, I'm a package deal, right? And in theory, you are correct. When you come in and you're dating someone with a child, they are a package deal. But in reality, it does not mean, and nor is it actually accurate to say that they're going to love the child the same way you're going to. You don't share DNA. Physiologically, you can't. But for someone to show up for you, to care for you, to protect you, to provide for you, I think that's a huge deal. And I got to see it from both a biological father and for a stepfather. So now that is my story. So let me go back to the question. Gentlemen, ladies, if there are any ladies in the chat, twins, is stepdaddy season over? Is the era of being a stepdad over?
yes, it is. Is it's yes, yes, it's over to answer the question number one. But I would say is that um it's still there because there's always some dude out there that's gonna need someone to stay and to survive.
Stop this now. Sorry. Sorry, I'm
So
gonna let
they
you end this
will,
story.
act like they're gonna, step in and do that, but they need that for their own safety net, whatever. But how back in the day where a man would come in and take care of a whole family that wasn't his and move forward, it was different. It was different back then. This era now is that I say this back then, women allowed men to be men back then. I'm gonna say that again. Women allowed men to be men back then in the previous stepdad era. In this
Mhm.
era, I was like, "You can't talk to my child. Who you talking to?" Like, you know what I'm saying? It's all fun and games when they want something to eat and need clothes and need shoes when it comes to disciplinary or, checking their attitude or how they act at school or how they act around other adults, saying something. Now me and her are not having conflict because I'm talking to her child a certain way, right?
Mhm.
And a lot
Mhm.
of men is like, do I really want to take on that responsibility? And as for me as a man, um if I'm talking to a woman as a child and a child with me, I'm gonna treat him like it's one of my own, right? So what I'm saying is this: I'm willing to die for that child. If we're out somewhere in a car come, I'm gonna jump in front of him, XYZ.
Mhm.
He may
Mhm.
not be blood, but he's mine. If we're together, he's mine. I treat him, I love him all the same. May not be my biological, but I'm gonna protect him the same way. But at any given moment, he can get mad and say something like, "You ain't my daddy." Whoop.
Boop, boop.
And
That's the
and
sound of the
one
sea. Sorry.
one that's a fact. Let's stop right there. That's a fact. I'm not. So I can't be mad, but then it's like, do I want to continue dealing with this disrespect? Because it's up to the mother to have a conversation with her child, son or daughter. Most men, we don't want you to when you first meet us calls dad. No, call me Mr. H, Mr. D, whatever, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you feel like
Mhm.
you want to call me later on, that's something on you, right? But there
Mhm.
has to be a
Mhm.
level of respect right there. Like you're not gonna say, "Well, my dad this." We're not doing that because he ain't here. If he was all that, you'd be there. But that's a whole nother conversation. But it comes to a level of respect, and then you hear stories about men who were there the whole life of the daughter or son. That mainly the daughter. So the stepdad stepped in for the daughter. He bought her for school. Got her car. Sweet 16. He did everything he was doing for his own daughter, right? But then when it got to the point of the wedding, right? That's how long you been in the picture from the little girl to
Mhm.
now she about
Mhm.
to get married,
Mhm.
and he did everything for that girl. His dad, her biological dad did nothing. Then all of a sudden now, when it comes to the wedding, she wants her real dad to walk her down the aisle, and he paid half of
Oh,
the wedding XYZ.
oh,
The
that's
nerve,
gotta hurt. That's
exactly.
gotta hurt.
So like this
That's
dude
gotta
hasn't been
hurt.
around all XYZ. I've been holding it down for you, taking care of you. I took you here. I was there when XYZ, and now when it comes to the wedding, you want to be like, oh no, I want my real dad to walk me down the aisle. Oh no, wedding over. Cancel it. Shut it down. The disrespect. So it'd be stuff like that. That's like, damn, I did XYZ for this child just so I could be disrespected later on. So it is a
Mhm.
lot of things at play when it comes to the stepping in as far as being the stepdad era. It's a lot.
Is it possible then to be with a person who has a child and play little to minimal role in the life of that child and still have a successful relationship?
That will only be the case if the biological father is still involved. Like I'll say this. So for example, I'm divorced. Everybody know that, right? I have
Mhm.
kids, and I play a huge part of my kid's life for everything. So let's say my ex-wife, she decided to date another guy, XYZ. He will do what you just said, the bare minimum, because I do everything for my kids. You understand what I'm
Yep.
saying? All you gotta
Yep.
do is be respectful, you know what I'm saying? Whatever, whatever. They're gonna respect him. If the problem is communicate with me, whatever. You don't gotta touch him because I'm gonna touch you. We ain't gonna have these problems. But the point I'm trying to make is that I he will have a minimal role. literally minimal because I'm that active in my kid's life. So that's how that part will roll out. To be, oh, we do bare minimum. Yeah, because I'm in the picture. It's kind of hard for you to be minimal if there is an active dad. Now, if there's no
Hmm.
active dad and you being minimum, that means she's doing double the work. She's being the mother, girlfriend, or fiance, or whatever she is, and on top of that, still be super mom at the same time. How's that make sense?
It doesn't. So I'm going to say it doesn't make sense. However, going back to a point you made a few minutes ago, what happens when a man is doing everything and showing up as a father, being a protector, being a provider, being there, and then the mother is saying, you can do all of that, but I don't want you talking anyway to my kid. I don't want you disciplining my child. Like there's all of these don'ts, right? All the do's, protection, provision, picking up the school clothes, doing all of this. There's all of those are on that list, but there's a whole bunch of don'ts. How does a man show up in the life of the child when he understands that I only have so much that I can do, and how I'm showing up is mostly financial, it's provision, right? Not even so much protection, it's provision because how can I protect you if I have no authority over you? And
Yeah,
the don'ts say that I don't have any authority over you. Can that type of relationship be successful?
I and once again, I never speak in absolute. So
Hmm.
whoever's listening, I don't speak in absolute. So I will assume this will have to be a man who already has kids of his own. He has
Mm.
kids of his own. They're either grown already or they're little, but he's still I mean, part of their life too. But he has his own. So and he's financially well off. So in that scenario, ain't no sweat off my back. I'm gonna do X, Y, Z, throw the money at your mom because I want to. I'm dating the mom. Me and her got a relationship, and as long as she's happy, I'm good. I get what she wants, so make sure. So as long as her kid is good, I do whatever she want me to do. Don't sit down to her. Cool. It'd be transactional. See, man, we could be transactional like that. Okay,
Mm.
you want me to do this? That's all I gotta do. Don't sit down to her when she do X, Y, Z. Say less. And plus, too, as a man, it's hard stepping in this girls. Like I would never date a woman who has a daughter. I would never. You have to have a son. I'm sorry. Once again, yours grown. I'm talking about the
Oh
child.
no, I get it. I
Yeah.
get it. Trust me. I don't want. I barely want to date a man who has a daughter. Trust me.
So trust me. So yeah. So in that part, I would never do. So it would have to be his son because it's easier for me to mentor and mold a young man. But it's transactional. It can work that way if it's transactional. But now that's hold
Ooh.
on, that's one side. But now if it's the guy who for some reason can't have kids, like unable to have kids, or he just maybe too late in age to have his own, he's cool being a stepdad, then that might pull a little strain on him because he wants to have that full authority of being the stepdad or dad role. And now you limit what he can do. So you want me to do all
Yeah.
this, but I
Yeah.
can't say, hey, don't talk to mom away. Don't talk to my daughter. I'll tell her. It's like now I'm fighting two women. I'm fighting
Mhm.
you, the wife, the woman I'm dealing with, and then the girl because she don't realize what she can't get away with. Right? Kids are smart, so
Mhm.
kids know what they can and
Very,
can't do.
very smart. Trust me.
So
I've
once
been there. I've been a stepmother. Trust me. I know.
exactly, so once a child knows what they can do, then that's where it gets a little tricky because kids are smart. So she'll push certain buttons knowing that you can't say nothing. So that scenario is not healthy at all. That to have the stipulation where I can do, yeah, I wouldn't recommend no man to go that route. If you can't have at least 95% authority over that child, I wouldn't do it. It's just too much, especially until they become adults. There's too much going on. To me, provisioning, especially when you start talking to boys and no, it ain't gonna work out.
I would
I'm saying
agree.
like as she's getting older, she starts on boys, and you trying to tell her,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, my
Yeah.
daddy, you can't tell me what. And then the mom, oh, you don't tell my girl who she can talk to. You don't need to be on the phone, see what she going on. She's private. Say like all that stuff. Like, see, that's why, like my dad tell me, have your own. I made my son
Yeah.
start your own family because it's It's a lot. It's very complicated. And then we still even brought up what happened with if there's a crazy baby dad that's involved too. We didn't get to that part yet.
We haven't, and here's, it's funny because it's been interesting for me because one of the things that I recognize, and I talk about it in my book, No Handouts. I brought a copy here. It's in the room though. I was actually rereading my own book. Let me tell you, my book, No Handouts for Black Girls, is like I read it on the plane, and I was like, "Girl, you wrote a book." I said, "Book is." Let me tell you, my book is damn good. Get my book, No Handouts for Black Girls. But I mentioned in the book, and one of the things I realized is I had a baby at 21. My daughter turned 24 on Monday. I have a whole grown adult. And at 21, when I had a baby, I knew I didn't want anymore. Her father wanted us to have another one literally right after, wanted Irish twins, and I said, I'm good. I'm not interested. And then when we broke up and we separated, I was really, really good because I fundamentally don't believe in having children with different men. So I could not do it. So the baby factory was closed. And so here I was, 23, 24 years old, on the dating market with somebody else's child, capable of having a child, but was never going to have another one. Like, I mean, I only have one. Clearly, I didn't have another one, and I was serious about it. And so the difficulty and the challenge that I had was I had locked up the baby factory, but I was meeting men who did not have children. And I knew that I could give them a child, but I wouldn't. And so I understood that a decision that I had made was fundamentally impacting the type of men I could date. Because even when I did meet men who didn't have children and said, I don't think I want children. I was like, we're in our 20s or in our 30s. You could change your mind. And I never wanted you to look over at me one day and resent me for the fact that I could have given you a child, but I chose not to while you were raising the child that I gave to someone else. Right? Like I knew that that was going to be a challenge. And so, some of the things that I hear um, on the other side of the internet, I really want women to think about the choices that we're making and how those choices will fundamentally impact our options in the future. And so at 21, I made a choice that has fundamentally shifted how my dating life has gone. There is someone right now, the person I'm actually sitting on his couch right now. I could have probably been married to this man years ago, but he has no children. He has no children. And I always had a conversation with him. We could be together, but the reality is I'm going to rob you of something that I think is really important for you to have, which is legacy and a child. And I do not think it is fair that you like raise my child and I'm unwilling, like again, unwilling, capable, but unwilling to give you a child of your own. Now, he still has no children, and 20 years later, we're still friends. Thank the Lord and hallelujah for that. But I just didn't, I felt it was a selfish thing for me to bring someone in my life knowing that a choice I had made was also fundamentally impacting his present and future reality. You know what I'm saying? Like this was a choice I made. It wasn't a choice he made. It was a choice I made, and so I knew I had to move differently. Twins.
So, question I have, based what you're saying from 21 to now, right? Even to now, when you have conversation with men that you're dating or not dating, but getting to the point of possibly dating,
Mhm.
I would assume that's something you say at the beginning of the conversation.
Right
Like,
off the
"Hey,
bat. Right
I'm
off the
dating,
bat.
I have kids, but I don't want no more kids.
I don't
Yes, I
want no
have."
more.
And how has that reaction been And of course, now maybe different because once again, your daughter's a grown woman,
I'm
so
old
granted, you're
and I'm in
childless.
menopause.
But when
And I'm in perimenopause.
but when you
Well,
think about the early you when you was in your late, let's say late 20s, 26, 27, around that you still 20, but late 20, and you're dating and you have a young child now at this point, what was the reaction at that time when you told guys, "Hey, I know I look good. I know you may have kids, don't want kids, but I don't want no more kids. And yes, I have my own." So, how was the response? I'm just curious.
it it was interesting. So I can think of three significant men in my life who I seriously dated. Well, two significant one, and the one I'm on this couch 20 years later. Um, so my very first boyfriend after my daughter's father and I broke up, he did not have any children, and the relationship was amazing. It was a beautiful relationship. And we're in our early 20s. Like it was as beautiful as it could be. But I knew it wasn't long lasting.
Mm,
I knew it wasn't long lasting because he wanted to be a father, and I knew I just couldn't do it. I was unwilling to do it. I could not do it. And I remember we broke up. He ended up having a child. And at one point, we talked about getting back together. And even then, I stopped myself and said, you know what? You need to give that relationship with the child's mother a chance because, like, your child deserves that. And I just I can't I couldn't. We're still friends to this day, also 20 years later. And then when I was in my early 30s, I actually lived with someone. We lived together, all of that. And he said he didn't want. He said, I'm perfectly fine. I actually don't know. He said, I don't know if I want children. And so the fact that you don't want children is fine because I'm not sure where I am. And then I remember what happened was his sister had a baby and they lived about 30 minutes from us. And every Saturday after she had the baby, we would drive to the house and I would have the baby most of the time we were there. I would rock the baby to sleep, I would feed the baby, and then his family started seeing how good I was
baby
as a
talk.
mother.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So
And
when
then
you're
the
having
baby
yours,
the baby talk started happening. And and he still was like, babe, I don't know if I want a child, but I was like, you deserve one. And I will never give you one. And I'm watching your family watch me be a mom and an auntie, and I know that those conversations are going to happen. And again, I never wanted to be resented for the fact that I could give him something, but I chose not to. But and again, we live together, so he's financially providing for the house and the child that I have in the house, and he's watching me be a great auntie. But I'm like, nope, that's where it ends. No baby for you. Now, granted, he also fast forward, he still doesn't have any children, but the fear I had was the fear of resentment. I never wanted to be in a relationship or a marriage where I was resented because I had made a choice pre them. And now, because of that choice, I couldn't give them a potential legacy.
makes
Those are
sense.
my experiences. So,
So
three, so it's funny, two out of the three men still don't have children. But
smart
at
man.
least now, if I were to get with them, if I were to say I got back with one of my exes, I would feel differently about it in my 40s than in my 20s and 30s. My eggs are scrambled, right? Like they would need Botox to even pretend to have. Like no 40-something-year-old woman should be out there popping out babies. But
But they
like
are.
crucify me if you want. I know they are, but it's ridiculous. Like crucify me if you want. But our eggs are old, and just unless you are rich and you can take out your eggs and test them for everything under the sun, that baby should stand a chance in this world. So you poor women over 40 don't have babies. Rich women over 40 can have some babies, pop out those eggs and test them for all of the diseases because these babies deserve a chance in this world. But I'm sure somebody will crucify me for what I just said, but I'm fine with that.
Uh,
Um, I
before you
digress.
go to
I see Jeff
no, no, no,
question.
don't put it up yet. Don't put it
Yeah.
up. Before you put the question up, Jeff's question up. Um, so regardless if you're married or not, you were like, no, I want no more kids.
I told my
Or what?
husband that.
Or
So
what?
for those who new to the show, I was married. I am divorced like twins. My ex-husband had a child. I had a child. We both had daughters. They were roughly the same age actually when we got married. And I went into that marriage where he clearly knew I did not want to have any children. I did not want to have any. I was fine being a stepmom, but I did not want to have a biological child just in case the demise of that relationship happened. Now I'm stuck with a baby. Like I'm just gonna be honest. I didn't want to be stuck with another baby. I'm gonna be straight up. You can walk away from a marriage when you don't have children. You can walk away from a relationship when you don't have children. You'll never, ever, 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 ever have to see
Yep.
that person again. I have not seen my ex-husband since 2009. I mean, God forbid I didn't even divorce him until 2022, but I have not seen my ex-husband since 2009. But you know who I talk to all the time? My daughter's father. You know who's been the most consistent man in my life for 26 years? My
Mm-hmm.
daughter's father. You know who I was texting this week? My daughter's father. Because I don't get rid of him.
You can't.
Okay? He is the man I can never get rid of because he is the man I procreated with. So I understood that I can sever this marriage and wave goodbye. But when I have a baby, I don't get to
Forever.
cut that man out of that baby's life. I
Nope.
don't get to do that. I don't get to do that. I can cut myself out, but I don't get to cut that baby out. And I understood that fundamentally. If something did not work, I was coming in with one child and I was leaving with one child.
Definitely clip that because that's very important. You can easily walk away in marriage with no children, unscathed, maybe a little bit of money given away. That's it. But when you have kids, ho ho ho, all the books are open. And like you said, you're forever, ever, ever,
Ever,
ever,
ever.
ever, ever attached to that person. God forbid anything to happen. Death would be the only reason why you want to see that person again. But outside of that, you're forever attached to that person. As much as you can't stand them or XYZ, you're attached to that person
Forever.
because you procreated. You create a life.
Create. Like, let's go back to the word you just said. Because people be talking about, I got pregnant or she got pregnant. No, you guys procreated. It is the creation of life. It
Yes.
is the creation of a being. Like, let's not act as if having a child with someone is something that is
Yeah.
minuscule. It is one of the biggest life decisions I have ever made was to be a mother. And I did not take that decision lightly. And I've also not taken the decision of who I also brought around my child lightly. And I did not take lightly the person I had the baby with because I knew by the hook or the crook he was going to be in my life forever because we shared a child. And if I wanted to have a well balanced child, I knew that he had to be in my life forever.
Amen. Amen. Regardless of how you two felt, how you fell out, he did this, you did that. For the child to be fully developed, they need both the mom and dad. And also, you have to be cordial. That's important too. You can't be bad mouthing him, and he can't be bad mouthing you, because that's gonna create confusion. So yeah,
Amen. There are things my daughter didn't even like. She found it funny enough, like her father helped us move. We moved last September. Yes, my daughter's father helped me move. Yes, because he's her father. Just so we're clear, and she lives with me. So this is like, you understand, forever. He has a whole relationship, lived with his woman, but he left that morning to come to his daughter's mother's house to pack up furniture and help us move.
some people
This is
do
what I'm
not
saying.
understand that. Some people not understand that. Some people will not understand is that I'm not helping her. I'm helping my daughter or my
Who lives with
kids.
her mother,
Who's the
the
mother? So
woman I
fortunately,
procreated with.
right. So fortunately, it's still a package deal. Listen, it's still a package deal regardless. Because if the mother of my kids jacked up, guess who's gonna be jacked up? The kids. So yes, shouldn't she have her own dude XYZ? She should, but if she don't, guess
Sure, I could.
you could. But if
I
you
could.
don't,
I
she
could. You
calls, hey, can
should.
you help? Yeah. Even though hell no, back of my head, but sure, because I know I firstly know where my kids gonna be at. Gotta make sure they got what they need. Make sure at the least the end of the night, their room is done. Okay. Sorry about you, babe. You gotta figure out your own. But the kids' room will be done. Beds put together, carried up, XYZ. Because it's
He
all gonna
drove the truck. I picked it up. He drove it, and I was some distance between my old house. I moved from like one part of the city to a very different part of the city, and I picked up the truck, but he drove the truck. I was like, I don't want to do this. He packed up the truck. He did it all. Did so much. I did a little, and he did a lot. And because I am the mother of his child, and I am forever in his life, and so this idea that we have created life together, procreation. It's a creation. You are creating something. And a lot of people forget that part and instead create chaos. We don't want chaos. Which brings us to actually Jeff's question. I'm going to put
yes.
this
Look
up
at that. Great
for the
segue.
audience to see. Because I know he didn't ask me, but after you say something, I want to make a comment. So I think everybody can see that. However, Jeff is asking twins how he feels about Russell Wilson essentially, I guess, adopting Little Future, and Future now has his last name, just like his other siblings of his last name. And if I understand this correctly, I haven't dug into the research. However, I believe it is a hyphenated last name. So he still has Future's last name. They've just added Wilson to it. Is that correct, twins? I believe I've gotten that correct, right?
He might. I have like I'm saying what I have not dug into it neither. The
As you're
happening.
talking about it, I'm gonna confirm. I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
it's actually a hyphenated last name.
Okay. Well, while she's doing the research, we'll find out. Once she do the research, then I'll get my answer to that part. But to answer the question, Jeff, since we're talking about dad legacies, what is my thoughts? So for me personally, right? Once again, I don't speak in absolutes. I think it's kind of disrespectful in a sense. Now, unless I mean very clear,
Okay.
unless
It
he
sorry, it is hyphenated. So he
okay,
has
cool. So
both
it ain't
Future's
that bad.
last name and Russell's last name. Correct.
That ain't that bad then. It ain't that bad. But let's say there was a scenario that it was changed, right? Right. I think it's kind of disrespectful because I'm sorry, unless Future gave up his rights to the child, like you know what, I only bar with the child, I want paid XYZ. I'm signing my rights over to Sierra so she can do what she want. Okay, that's a different story. She can change his name, she do whatever he want. But if he hasn't given his rights over to him, then I find it kind of disrespectful. May he be a bad father to his son right now? Yeah, he may be. But there's still a chance in the future that he could turn around one day and you know what? I want to be a better father to my kids and want to be involved XYZ. But to change my son's last name, yeah, that's the problem right there. Because that's the legacy that I mean, granted, Future has a lot of kids. We know that. But let's just say Future didn't have a lot of kids and that was the only child, XYZ, him, Sierra fell out in this bad relationship. So she took the child away, whatever. And because women do it all the time, women take away the kids, XYZ. The point I'm trying to make is that, yeah, I wouldn't dare change the name because I think that's kind of messed up. No, I didn't hear about the hyphenated part, but
I'm
I'll
just.
pause. Yeah, I'm gonna pause. Let's go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
This is where I jump in. So just for anybody who's in an uproar about this, I'm gonna break it down for you. Future gave permission. So here, and this is this, and I'm going to tell you why I know Future had to give permission, even if the media doesn't want to talk about it. Future
Right.
gave permission. Future is on the child's birth certificate. So I'm going to tell you, in my last relationship, my ex's children's mother tried to pull some bullshit on us. I'm just gonna call it what is it? She tried to pull some bullshit by calling um my now ex and saying that she was gonna get married and that she wanted to let him know that she was gonna change the last name of his children. Well, my ex isn't on the birth certificate. They don't have his last name.
Mm.
They have her last name. And so therefore he had no rights either way. He had no rights to give away, or he had no permission to give because according to the birth certificate, there is no father listed. But because Future is listed on Little Future's birth certificate, they are cannot go in front of a court unless Future gave up his parental rights, which he did not, to change the last name. So I think what people are forgetting, because people, here's the beauty of when you're able to co-parent. Here is the beauty of adults being adults. There is no way those two men, and I might be jumping to conclusion, but as a woman who saw this happen, as a woman who saw my biological father, my stepfather come and sit together and be men and talk about parenting me. This were two men when I was little who came together. My mother, if my mother was sitting here, she would tell you my father flew from Jamaica to Canada to sit down with a man who he was now going to hand over the reins to help raise his daughter. Those two men came together as adults and sat down and talked about it. And people may say whatever they want about Future or say whatever they want about Russell, but there's still men who clearly care about the same little boy. And I guarantee you, those two men sat down and had a conversation. This isn't a Sierra decision. This is a two men. One man had to decide that he loved that child enough to give him his last name because Russell Wilson ain't no chump. This ain't no drug dealer on the street. This ain't no dope boy. No, this is Russell Damn Wilson. Like let's put some respect on Russell Wilson's name for a second. This is Russell Wilson. He's gonna go down as one of the best football players probably in the history of this game. He's going into the Hall of Fame. It's Russell Wilson. So let's not like act like she married some like dope boy off the street. And also put some respect on Future's name. Again, one of the top maybe what 150 rappers of our time. He'll probably go down as these are two men who are at the top of their game. There's no way those Sierra just sat down and said, you know what, Russell, I'm gonna give Future your last name. You know what, Future? I'm gonna give Future Russell's last name. That did not happen. Those men came together, had a decision, and Future had to agree because at the end of the day, this man is helping to raise your child, protection and provision. And by doing so, he now has authority in a way that he may not have before. And let's be clear, Little Future probably also saw that his siblings were all Wilsons because kids are smart, like you said before. And he also probably wanted to be a Wilson too. So it sounds great in for the other side of the internet to make it a contentious thing. But on over here, what I'm gonna tell you is those two men came together and it was a decision that was made. And this little boy's name is now Future Zahir. I think it's Wilburn Wilson. That is his name. He did not annihilate his father, but what we did, let's go back to what we talked about 40 minutes ago. What happened is a man who was now responsible for raising him, in instilling values in him, not just provision, but making him into a man is now been legitimized by having that name on it. So it's like, for me, it's like a man sometimes is damned if he do, damned if he don't. So if Russell doesn't show up for Future's game, if Russell's not there, if Future isn't in pictures with Russell and the other kids, if Future isn't in little, and I'm talking about Little Future, is not
Right.
in pictures with Russell by himself, then people are going to be, oh, you see how she married that man, and that man doesn't want anything to do with Future's kid. So he embraces him. You see how she married that man, and they're trying to get rid of Future altogether. What? Have we just not? Are we just so tainted that we can't see the maturity in we both love a child and we're nurturing, supporting them. I don't think Future is a piece of crap. And I'm talking about big Future. I think this is a man who clearly has women keep deciding to have babies with him. Let's
Facts.
just be clear. Women keep just like they keep deciding to have babies with Cam Newton.
Facts.
They keep having babies with
Stepdaddy.
Nick. Why are you having babies? Why you want baby number 25? I don't know, not even know the number. I think it's 12. These are choices that women are making. And so, yes, when these choices are made and now you end up in a situation where you are going to have a stepdaddy, is it so impossible to think that as mature adults we can sit down as males and say, especially when it's a boy child, this is how we are going to come together so we can collectively raise that child together to instill values with him. I personally think little future is a very lucky little boy to have these two men. And I think there's still, I don't give a crap how many baby mamas future has. These women all have babies with future. Like let's not forget this part. Future doesn't have baby mamas if women don't keep having babies with Future, which means that they're laying down with a man who they keep seeing having babies and giving their womb to him. But let's not play this. Let's not play this game now, right? So I
Unprotected.
think little. Thank you, unprotected you. So I think little Future is actually quite lucky to have these two fathers who were willing to be able to give him something so beautiful and going to instill these amazing. He's going to see such two different, distinct worlds, and he's going to learn so much. So I say, hats off to those two men. I think, you know what, I didn't talk about Sierra because this is not about Sierra, and people need to remove Sierra. Sierra isn't. Let me tell you something. All you women, do you think Sierra is wearing the pants in this relationship? No. This is. Do you see Sierra running around talking about INDEPE and my man and I? Sierra don't run nothing over in that house. Let me be clear. Y'all can say Russell Wilson is a Trump or whatever you want to feel. I know women, and that woman ain't running shit. Just like how Beyonce ain't running nothing in the house with Jay Z. Y'all might think what you think, but Jay Z is the man of Jay Z's house. Like Russell Wilson is the man of that house. And so, therefore, these were two men coming together. Sierra, yes, she has to approve. Yes, she may have been the one who called Big Future. And I even doubt that. That understanding men and seeing it happen in my own life, those two men came together and had a conversation without Sierra. Because that is not a decision a mother can just make on her own. Sorry, ladies, I know emotions and men and the other side of the internet because the law wouldn't allow it. If we just take the emotions legally, the law would never allow that name change to happen unless it was proven that Future was giving up his parental rights. And he would have to sign them over because he's on the birth certificate. That is the beauty of having a father's name on the birth certificate, ladies. That is the beauty. It's not just for child support. When you have a father's name, and that's why some women don't have father's names on birth certificates, because fathers will have rights when their names are on birth certificate. You can't move your child out of the state. You can't get the child a passport. You can't do any of those things without the father having to sign the document. And that's why some women don't have father's names on birth certificates. Trust me, because my daughter's father's name is on, and every passport that she had before the age of 18, that man had to sign the document. Every time I took her out of the country or he took her, we had to write each other a note and notarize it to give permission because legally that is both of our children. Sorry, I went on a bit of a rant, but like I think people are so in their emotions that their logic aren't telling them that, I don't think she just changed his last name. The fuck? Sorry.
Yeah, there was a lot there that you unpacked, but I totally agree with you what you're saying. I think it was more of a shock value, Jeff. So that's why, and that's why also too. You think about it, it kind of died off because once people started reading into it and getting an understanding of how it came to be, once people realized it was hyphenated and also like Satoshi would explain, Russell and Future had a co-sign on it. So it's like, okay. So the way the media put out there was just another name just to keep bringing attention to Sierra and bring attention to Russell Wilson and Future for no damn reason. I'm pretty sure it was a private matter that happened. I don't know who the person leaked it out, but someone had to leak it out because why would you put your kid in the spotlight out there like that in the first place? You know what I mean? Like Sarah went to the TV show. Hey guys, I want to introduce you, Russell. Da, 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 da. Like it's not that deep. For what? Just
She
kids.
did not do that. Exactly. It's
And of course,
people.
that is like okay, you want attention if you're doing that. But another thing you said was very important too is that yes, to see what it said. Once a man signed a birth certificate, fellas, you do have rights.
Right.
Um, like literally,
Lots of them.
like not too soon after my divorce, my wife called me and said, "Hey, we need to get these passports done." I'm like, "Okay." "Oh, I need you. Why you need me? Because you're the father, and I can't get them done because they need your signature." So we met up and we got it done. And also the traveling thing. She travels. I gotta let her know. She travels. She gotta let me know. It's just how it works. So, like you said, I mean, child support is the main reason, but there's other stuff too as well.
and
You
and,
can,
and, and we and we need to and that's the part you need to understand the responsibility you're asking someone else to take on coming into your life and raising your child, right? To be a
right,
stepfather. Like it is a responsibility. This isn't just, oh, we're gonna live together, cohabitate, get married, and like I mean, you're there, so you might as well just, take the kids to school or what? No, no. There's a responsibility. There is a duty. This man now has a duty, but he also knows, especially like you said, if there is an active father, because that's what I had. I cannot speak about an absentee father because I haven't experienced that in my own life with my own father or with my daughter's father. My daughter's father is a very present father, and my father was a very present father. My father raised me for the first 9 years of my life until I was emigrated and went to came to Canada. I'm technically in the U.S. right now, but went to Canada to go live with my mother, and my father was still very active. He was never absentee up until the day he passed away. Rest in peace, daddy, right? So I come from a space where I know what it's like to have an active father, to have a father who communicated not only with my mother, but with the man who was raising me. And my daughter's father would do the same. My daughter's father has gotten on the phone with my ex husband. He's gotten on the phone as of recently with my now ex fiance because we were having an issue that we were all trying to resolve at the time when I lived with my ex fiance. And those two men got on the phone and had a conversation, not with me. It was two men coming together because financially they were trying to figure out what to do for the child. The child that I had with someone else, the person I was now with, was working with her father to figure out something financially we could all do for that child. That is the responsibility. And when you rob a person, and I'm just going to generally speak because it's generally not the same for stepmothers, right? Like it is very rare that stepmothers are in a position that I was in where the father has custody and you're raising a child. Generally, we are a weekend step parent or a like you know what I'm saying? Maybe you have summer step parent. You're not an everyday in the house raising provision and all of that stuff. When a person becomes a step parent, that child goes into their health plan, into their medical plan. They become a dependent. Like again, I'm talking from a place of healed corporate folks. Okay, like I'm not. I know about the street stuff and the street pharmaceuticals. This is not this show. I'm talking about, if Twins gets married tomorrow, and one of the things he's gonna do with his HR person is update his insurance policy at work because
yes.
he has a wife and he has a bonus child or children, and that they get added to the family plan. They just marry their mom, so now those children have the same benefits as his actual biological children. The health insurance doesn't go, oh, okay, so not your biological child. So should they only get a 25% part? Like that doesn't that's not how it works. Like you don't, so
It's
the
fully
insurance company is like, great, you have a family plan. Okay, great. So this is now your new premium because you've added extra people on your family plan.
yeah, higher premium, more money coming out. Yes, yeah.
So this is when I'm asking if is the stepdaddy era, stepdaddy season over? Because I question, are women thinking about that aspect of asking a man to come into your life and raise offsprings that are not his, the responsibility that they're taking on. And I guess my other question, twins, to get us back on track, how quickly should the conversation happen when you are potentially in a space where you understand that you would have to come in and really play the role of a father, especially if there isn't one. Let's talk about the scenarios where there isn't one. If there isn't a active father around, how quickly are you having a conversation with a woman about what role she expects you to play, and what duties and responsibilities do you have coming in as this step parent or bonus parent? And at this point, if the father isn't around, you're in a bonus parent, you are dad.
Okay, that's a great question. So, there's not a one answer for that. It's pretty much two answers in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
Reason why I said it in a sense is that if I'm first talking to a woman, right, and I'm first getting to know her, and I find out she has kids, and of course, I'm gonna ask, so how's the relationship between you and the father? You know, what I'm saying, how's that?
Mm-hmm.
You know, what I'm saying, just so I can get an idea as far as how I want to move forward. Oh, there's no father, he's in jail, he's dead, or XYZ, he's just not around, or I don't know who the father is. You know what I mean? Whatever. All right, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm just getting that information from the beginning. Now, as the relationship keeps going and me here gets serious, once we get to that serious status of either moving in or potential marriage, XYZ, then that conversation that comes back up again. I said, okay,
Mm-hmm.
before we move forward on this next level, now I want to ask more questions about the child and everything you said. How do you? What's your thoughts on this? On this discipline, or they do this or do that, or me talking to them, raise like, and if she's like, you have full reign, we're good. If she has, oh well, this and that, then the relationship might we may not move forward in the relationship. It may stop right there. Me personally, each man's different. Me
Mm-hmm.
personally, if I don't have full reign, I don't want no parts. I want no parts of it because I got my
What,
own.
what does what, what does full reign look like to you? Like, I want you to have the women understand what full reign is.
Trim like just like mine. That's it. There's no difference. It's you just want to get out of line to get handled. There ain't no. I yell them. Yeah, all my kids. If I gotta pluck them, I'll pluck them all. There's no, you know what I'm saying. So if I don't got rain and trim like that, I'm cool. I got mine over here. I'm cool. With my
Mm,
hey, I'm cool with my two. I'm forever cool. With my like you. You forever good with your one. Good with my two.
good girl.
So if
Good,
three
good
can't
girl.
get in line with the two, then we just hey, you know what? Bill? Respectfully, this ain't gonna work out. And I'm okay with that. Because like you said, I'm taking on the full responsibility of X, Y,
You are.
Z. And then you telling me I can't say this and say that, that's the problem. Then if I can't do X, Y, Z, then maybe you need to step back and reevaluate the whole thing in relationship because I'm not sure what you think you can get out of it. If you see me as a father and you see I'm a good father of my kids, and X, Y, Z, and my kids are not being abused or whatever case may be,
Mm,
what makes you think I'm gonna do that to yours? Right? If you want the full benefit, if you think I'm this a good guy, great father, don't you me a great guy, great father to your kid as well too? Doing the same thing? Or I gotta mold them. I gotta mold the child to be how I need him because, of course, he's not mine. So the beginning years where I would mold him, I wasn't there for that. So it's gonna take a little longer. I'm gonna have patience to mold him, but I'm gonna get him molded because I run a tight shit when it comes to kids. I don't do disrespect. I don't do a lot of things I just don't get away with. I don't. I have low tolerance for kids. So I got two of my own. If once again, I'm okay with my two. But once again, to answer your question, once me and the woman gets very serious, we'll have that conversation. And then based on her answers, she said, I can't do this, I can't do that. I'm okay with walking away. Because I'm not gonna be having arguments about something that your child did and I said this and I told him to do that and you didn't like how I did that or whatever case may be. I'm not having arguments about that. You know what, in the day, it's not my kid. Let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it a buck. Not my kid. You can pack and leave your kid and be gone, and that's it. I'll never see the kid again.
That part.
But guess what?
Been there.
Guess what? I'll still see the rest of my life, my kids forever.
That part.
Like you
Forever.
just said, this big age that you're at now, who helped you pack and move and took the truck and XYZ? And your
My
daughter's
son's father.
24, so she's 23 now, and dad's still
She's
around.
24. Yeah, she's turned. My daughter turned 24 on Monday. Her
Oh,
father
she's
is the
24.
most consistent. Yeah, she turned 24 on Monday. Her father is the most consistent man in my life for the last 26 years. I've been married, divorced, and engaged twice in 26 years. He's the most consistent man. They all are gone. I don't talk to those motherfuckers no more. But him, I spoke to him this week, and I'm gonna speak to him next week. And he had to send me his schedule. Why? Because every year we have a dinner with our daughter, just the three of us, no one else, just the three of us.
Which
And
I
I
think
had
is
to
good.
get a schedule
Hmm.
to make sure that I could book it on a time that worked. I told him what restaurant we were going to. I said, I'm just waiting for our daughter's schedule. I'll book it. I'll put it in your calendar. Every year we've been doing this since she was 16.
See, people don't understand that. That's very important. I hope this video come across as a young woman to understand the concept because protecting that womb is very important. Because the decision you made now is going to stay with you for the rest of your life.
Forever. And I want to break down what you said to ladies so that they truly understand. So, ladies, I want you to imagine a scenario where you have two children and your partner has two children, and your husband goes away on a business trip and he comes home and he brings two gifts
Mm,
for his children, and he doesn't bring any for your children. And when you say, honey, there are four kids in the house, why did you only bring two gifts? And he looks at you, says, and goes, well, those are not my kids. Those are your kids. So I bought gifts for my kids. Let's do the reverse. The four kids are in the house. They're all misbehaving. He punishes all four children. You come home. Your kids tell you that their stepdad punished them. And you go to him and say, why did you punish my kids?
mm,
So they're all his kids when it comes to provision, but they're not his kids when it comes to punishment.
mm.
Too
Message.
huge. So that's what twins just described. So provide for my child, but don't you dare punish them because they are your kids when it's provision time, but they're not yours when it's punishment time.
Mm.
Those two things cannot live and exist and coexist in the same space.
No. If you want a healthy relationship, that's not going to work. It won't work. It can't work. It's impossible. Now, everyone's different now, ladies and gentlemen. Every man's different. There might be a guy who's okay with that, right? But the guy that more likely the guy that you want or the guy is going to
Not the
step up.
protector and the provider. The guy who's coming
Yeah, I'm
in
saying.
to slap, slap, slap at night and leave, he don't give a crap about your kids. Your kids are actually an inconvenience to his life and what he wants to do. But a man who's a protector and provider who's going to take you and take those kids and and put those kids on his family health benefit. I just described what twins has to do when he remarries. He has to go to the HR and tell them I got married and give the name of every single dependent.
And also factor this
Dependent.
and also factor this too. On top of him paying whatever he paying in the house every day, every check that he's still with that company, he's paying for kids is not his. Just saying. So he's double dipping. he's they're taking money up like because medical, most people work. I hope everybody works that were on this video chat
Yeah,
with us.
people who listen to this show, we afraid you guys are working.
People working, but
Absolutely so.
that's called pre-tax deduction. So before you get your money, the taxes, IRS, benefits, and then your pay. So before you get paid, you're paying for someone's kids first before you even get your money. Let that marinate for a little bit.
Because they become dependent. They're not independent from Twins' money. They're dependent
They
on
get
it.
first dib on my check. The hours I put in, they get first dibs. The nerve. But anyway, I digress.
So that's it. That is all. You know, I, I want to say I pray that please like, share, subscribe. Men, because I'm talking to the men. Men, please share this with the women in your life. Because I think this is a discussion that people need to hear. I think there's a beauty in being a step parent. And as much slack as Russell Wilson and Sierra get, I think they are showing the beauty of how step parenting can be. And even though I'm not in their homes, I guarantee you, Future has less issues than all of us people on that. I'm going to include myself, even though I don't give two craps. But, I'm a person on the internet. Future could give two craps about what most of us are talking about because I guarantee you, him and that other grown man are talking about how to instill great values into their son. And at the end of the day, Russell is his daddy, whether we like it or not, because twins is described. Every single cent of the money that he makes is also going to Future's child. So it's not just Future's child, it's also Russell's child. Woo! When my stepdad had to pay bills, it wasn't just, oh, it's my children, it's me. When he was being a grandparent, it wasn't just to his biological children's children, it was to my daughter. He picked her up from school, he bought her things, he put her to bed, he made sure she was taken care of. We don't get to pick and choose when a step parent can be a step parent. So, as someone who was raised in a step parent situation, as someone who understands the beauty of it, who's someone who's been a step parent, I'm telling you, there is beauty in having someone come in and love and nurture and guide your child because I truly do believe it takes a community. However, stepdaddy season will absolutely be over if women do not understand what you are asking of a man when he comes into your child's life, that you are giving him a dependent. And if you are going to give him a dependent, he needs to be able to depend on you that he can play an active role in not just provision in that child's life. Because unfortunately, whether we like it or not, the way we're going, there are going to be more blended families. And when we
Yes.
say blended, and this is what we need to understand, and this is why even like I have to separate my parents and say step understand. But my family was blended. When you blend something, you're putting it together. I have seen the beauty of people getting married and putting the different sands because they're blending their family, and each child has a color and they pour it in and they blend it all together because it's now this blended beauty. There is beauty in blended families, but you have to be ready to blend the family. So those are my last words. Let's go to our dating tips. Twins, I went first last week. Let you go first this week. What is your dating tip for the week?
The dating tip of the week was based on the conversation we had today, and it's really protecting the womb, making a decision of who you decide to give a child to. Um, giving someone a child, giving a man like the ultimate gift you can give a man is a child. Let's start right there for number one. So be mindful if you give your womb to, because that person will forever be in your life. Yeah, it's good at one moment, but there's ups and downs and it happens. But choose wisely. Choose wisely. And if he has kids already, before you give him a child, see how you interact with his kids. That'll let you know what kind of father he is. If he's not around, or if you don't see the kids, you don't have to talk about his kids all the time, you might want to make sure you strap up or not strap up, but have plan B, whatever it may be, to make sure that you don't get pregnant. I'm just saying, do what you got to do. That's my ding tip. Protect that womb.
uh, this is,
You popping, you
um,
popping the babies.
popping the pills, popping them plan me. This is for the beautiful single mothers out there. Date responsibly, especially when you have a younger child. Children are impressionable. And I don't care how old you are. I even understood as a 23-year-old single woman, even before my prefrontal cortex was developed, I had to date differently because I was a mother. And so it is important to date responsibly. You have to think about what role you want this person to play in your child's life. And if you don't want them to play a role in your child's life, don't bring them around your child.
Message.
Don't bring don't bring them around your child. Expect to be the fun girl. Expect to be there for a good time, not a long time, because it is impossible to separate your life as a parent and your womanhood. The moment we have a child, those two things are combined, right? Your womanhood and your motherhood become combined, especially when those babies are younger. So really date responsibly, and if you just want to have fun, that's fine, have fun, but keep that man away from your child. And if you want a future, no pun intended,
Send it.
with that man, okay, if you want a future with that man, you have to consider how you want to blend your family and what role you are want that man to play and how much power you're willing to give up to him because you are giving up some of your power. You are doing that because when you're a single mother, you are everything. You're everything wrapped up in one. So when you are bringing man into your life, you are giving up some of that power. And are you willing to give it up to that man? Because if you don't, baby girl, he's just not going to stick around the way you want him to. So those are our dating tips. Jeff, again, I would love to have a conversation with you, Jeff, because I think your perspective as a marriage counselor, deacon, and a married man would be very helpful because we're changing the conversation here. So thank you, twins. Thank you to everybody on Instagram. Thank you to everybody who joined us on YouTube. Thank you for everybody who will rewatch this and watch the clips. We appreciate you. We are nothing without you. And I am off. Good night. See you later. Like, share, subscribe.